Hello, America. So I was I went to the doctor today and I was like super stressed out. And I noticed the doctor was white, and I noticed the the way white people have taught themselves to judge black people. Um they don't straight come out and say, well, I have these preconceived notions that, black people misuse their medication or something like that. But they treat you that way based on some preconceived notion of black people from wherever they get it from. And I was I was kind of hurt by it while I was thinking of it, and then it just like dawned on me um that God's not white. When you see all these pictures of Jesus, and that's supposed to be God, and God isn't white, but I'm sure that the devil is white. And the reason why I came to that conclusion is because everywhere you look at, every um, disaster, every um, genocide, and this global terrorism, it's all done by white people. And white people are constantly labeling other races and other things as evil, when if they just took a step back and looked at themselves, look at the things that they've done, they would certainly realize that they're part of the evil side, the devil side, the destructor, this side that has to feel so much hate for other people, to the point where they spend most of their time focusing on black people in general. I don't know why this obsession um with black people, and I think it's because we're like that opposite, the devil and God, and it's ingrained in them to hate us and to despise us, and um to constantly paint this picture of black people as this negative, this vile, violent creature, because that is what they are. And if they put it off on us, then they can justify their evil treatment, their attitudes, and their violence, and their judgment, and the things that they've constantly done to black people. I know, like, for me, it's hard to think that all white people are evil. Um, I don't want to think that, and I don't want to feel that way, but I have to realize, and I think we all need to realize, that the mass majority of white people are evil. Just plain out, heartless evil. And they have to be. Like, I picking up it was a magazine, I think Times or something like that, and just looking at some of the diseases they've spread in Africa, and malaria, and going over there and pretending to be missionaries and pretending to be godly people while you're killing children and families and spreading diseases, and you're watching these people suffer, and you know what you're doing is wrong. Like, there's no doubt about the fact that you cannot know, you can, like, not have that knowledge of what you're doing is completely wrong on a level that, like, cannot even be compared. The stuff that white people do, when I think about it, them being the devil or from the devil is the only thing that makes sense. When I think of the stuff that they do now, like when they can watch the news and see a child being murdered and sit there and make excuses as to justify why it was okay to murder that child. But we have to, like, go further back from that to really measure the evil things. Um and the lying about the deceit. When you can look at the fact that Black people were thousands of Black people were put in concentration camps right here on American soil, and that is just not even talked about. It's because it wasn't anything bad to them. It's not bad that Black people were put in concentration camps and given smallpox and murdered and genocide, and that's okay. So it's not put on the same level as the white people in Germany being put in concentration camps. I think that they're blind to this being evil. I don't even think that white people are capable of stepping back and looking at what they do and feeling empathy towards Black people. I don't think that they have that ability, even if you're married to them, even if they have children. I don't think that they can still they still lack that ability to step back and feel empathy for what Black people have been through and what we constantly go through on a daily basis. And I've talked to white people, and they'll say, "Oh, Black people you don't deal with discrimination and hatred on a daily basis." And that is like this huge blanketed lie. And for me, it feels like a punch in the face. Like, I know what I deal with and I know what I go through, but white people don't have the ability to even feel or care or empathize with Black people, and the fact that they walk around and they build this system of hate. It's not even just oppression, it's not even discrimination, it's a system of complete and utter hate, and it doesn't make sense. And I know that it's never going to make sense, but you try as much as you can, because this is the world that you were given, and you try to make sense of it. But as I try to make sense of things, and as I go down this journey, and it's hard and it sucks and it doesn't make me feel good, because I have to realize that this is their truth. This is who they are. And we can't save them. I know, like, why I say save them is because I feel like black people want so badly to just think that one day white people are going to realize that what they're doing is wrong and step back and say, enough is enough, and we've done enough, and we've hurt enough people, and we've poisoned the water, and we've destroyed oh so much that we're gonna stop. That's not gonna happen. Like, it's just not going to happen. And if we're waiting for even the majority, we've been lied to so much on the fact that oh, the Civil War, and white people fought to free black people, when that isn't the truth. Like, that's not the truth. Black people stood up, and they fought together to free themselves. So white people are constantly feeding you these lies when they're making history. They're making it to a point where black people would feel this false hope, or this false belief that as soon as enough white people realize what they're doing and realize how wrong it is, then they'll stop. And though that would be nice, that it really would, it would be great. But I don't think that white people have that in them. I don't think they have it in them. I don't, and I'm not saying this in a I hate white people. And like I get trolls and other people that are like, "Oh, you just hate white people." I honestly don't hate white people. I don't have this hate burning in my heart for white people. I don't walk up and down the street thinking of ways to destroy or lie, the stuff that they do to us. White people walk around obsessing over black people, thinking of ways to oppress black people. I don't do that, and I don't know any black people that just sit around thinking about white people. But you can ask a white person what black people are doing. What's the rate of crime for black people, or what's how many black people are having kids out of wedlock, and they can just name off this stuff. Usually it's a bunch of inflated lies, but they will still have some answer. But if you ask them what other white people are doing, they can't give you an answer. They don't know what the crime rate of white males are, or they don't know what the rate of unwed children out of wedlock is. They don't know that because they're like this ingrained obsession with hatred towards black people, and it's so unjust. And I've looked so far back in history, and I try to think of, okay, what would have given white people a reason to have this hatred towards black people. And the only thing that I see is black people aren't internally good. We are from God. We are from the universe. We are from the earth. We're one with it, and they are not. They are from the devil, from evil, from hatred and animosity and just vileness. And I don't think, even if they want it to be, I think they can, on the surface level, try to empathize, and most of them don't even do that. I'm talking maybe 1% that will try to actually empathize and try to um not feel hate or um animosity or violence towards black people. I feel like they can try, but I feel like it doesn't come natural, and it will be something really hard. And if we as Black people continue to sit and wait for them to change who they are, how long are we going to wait? Like, how many hundreds of years are we going to wait for them to change who they are? We can't. Like, that's not, it's it's an option if we just want to stay in this, and if we just want um to die off. And the thing is, like, I'm white people are always like thinking they're gonna die off, and oh, let's just make and then you'll hear Black people say, well, let's just make everyone mixed, and then racism will end, then white people will stop being evil. That's not gonna happen. And one of the reasons, and this is genetically, we would just breed out all humans, like there would just be no people left. But I don't want to wait for that. I want to see change for my son, for my nieces, for my nephews, for my cousins. I want to see change for our children right now. And when you're like, when I'm on videos and stuff and I read some of the comments back, and you get all these threats from white people and them saying, oh, you're just, getting Black people all riled up, and you're not gonna like what happens. Pretty much saying, don't tell the truth. Don't get people to stand up for themselves and fight back. Just sit there and take our hate, and we're never going to leave you alone. We're not going to just leave you to live. We can't stay out of Africa. We won't. Even though we have so much hatred towards Black people, we can't get ourselves to stay away from them. We can't leave you alone. And that's what, when people are saying, like, anyone that's watching my sister's channel, she'll say, first, that she wants segregation, and segregation would be fine, but we've been there, and it Black people weren't left alone. We weren't segregated, and then, here's your part of United States, and you build your life, build your schools, build your system, and we will leave you alone. Because when you're evil and when you are from the devil, you don't want to see other people in peace. You don't want to see people happy and loving each other and just like working in harmony with the land and with the people. Even with the Native Americans, they can live with each other and with the land. White people aren't letting them do that. They're not letting them do that. So segregation doesn't won't help us. It won't change anything. When you have people that are coming after you, irregardless of anything, there's nothing you can do. I think Black people could pack up and go to Mars, and white people will follow. I really truly believe that they would sit there and everything in them would feel like they need to come bother, destroy, kill, rape Black people. They would just feel they need to do that. Because if white people wanted to be segregated from Black people, they would be segregated from Black people. Like, they make the rules, they make all the laws, they have all the weapons, they have control over all the money, they have control over the education, they have control over everything. So for even a second, if you think that white people just want to be separated, they just want to be left alone, they just want, when they walk around their Confederate flags, they just want to be in the South, separated. No, they don't. That's not what they want. That's, even if subconsciously they think that that's what they want, that's not what's in them. That's when they're part of the devil, they feed off of destruction and hate and violence and brutality, and they don't care how young, how old, how handicapped or crippled or nice and kind you can be in church, obviously, and it doesn't matter. It won't matter. They're still going to come after us. So we can try to think of just sit it out, just be nice to them. I'm nice. I have to deal with white people every day. Teachers, doctors, everywhere you go, there's white people that you have to deal with. So you can't just walk around being rude to white people, but they sure can walk around being rude to black people. So if all these things that have been tried doesn't work, then what do we have left except fighting for ourselves? And that's what we need to do. And it's not about hate. It's not about just dislike or destruction or hate. I don't people if other people hate white people, I understand why. Like, for me, hate is just like too emotional for me. It's too time consuming, and it's like almost painful. So I don't feel that for them. I don't walk around hating white children and whatever. But war is war. And if you have to go to war to save your life, then that's what you do. You don't I'm not spreading hate. I'm not saying hate white people. I'm not. I'm saying stand up for yourself. Fight for your life and realize what you're up against. It's not about what you like or what you want to like or what you want to believe. You can want to believe that white people are awesome or nice, or they're going to come to their senses and say, hey, let's step back and leave black people to live. But it's not going to happen. If it was going to happen, it would have happened like hundreds of years ago. It's not going to happen. And like, it's frustrating and it's irritating. The we all know Martin Luther King's birthday's coming up, and that's supposed to be, a holiday, and white people try to act like, oh, we liked Martin Luther King, but you didn't like him when he was alive, and they only like him because he teaches passivity, and mostly because he's dead. So a dead black person is okay to them. It's just while they're alive, that's they can't just you just don't like you, want to kill you, want to find any reason to kill you. You have to just look at it that way. And it's not just, now it seems so obvious, black, white, total opposites. I know they're from the devil because everything points to that. Everything you can think of, the burning in the sun, the hate for everything in general, the global terrorism. We are looking at, if you look at what, hell is and what heaven is, they belong in hell, and they would be in hell with the devil, with so much hatred and so much violence. Because hate isn't words. Hate isn't just words. Because who cares what someone says? Like, words are words, whatever. Hate is the action. It's what you are, what you like. You can try to fight it in your core, but it's just you. Like, a lot of white people don't even notice when they're walking around hate and judging and having a total disregard for a black person's life. It just comes so natural. It just is what it is. And that's what we need to realize right now. It is what it is. Okay? So we can fight it. We can pray against it, which is just my thing is, when we send soldiers over to Iraq to kill, I that's a job. You're doing it out of, it's your that's your job. You have to do that. And regardless, there's no, you can like the people, you can think that they're not evil, but that's what your duty is. And right now our duty needs to be to protect our lives and to end this global terrorism. Because you know what, at this point, and if you as a black person can sit and think to yourself and try to imagine living in a world where you are not criticized, ostracized, and murdered because of your skin color. I can't even imagine how that feels. I can't imagine not having to think about my race. So while white people are always talking about, oh, you're pulling the race card and it's not about your race, it's always about your race. When you go to a doctor, it's about your race. When you go to school, it's about your race. When you go to work, when you apply for a job, it is always about your race. So they can sit there and say, oh, it's not, but you know it is. You know in your very core, and they know it is, because they wouldn't feel so much animosity and hate for you if you were sitting there white like them. But that devil inside tells them this is good. That's the opposite of me. I hate that. I need to destroy it. And that is their goal, is to destroy us. If they could wipe us off earth and they would still be able to be on it, we would be gone. But they can't, and they know that. We have to look at them for who they are, and then we can stop thinking that they're going to one day snap out of it, because that's impossible. It's not possible for them to change who they are. It's not going to happen. So it's up to us. It's when we wake up, something will happen. When we say, you know what, this is the line, and we're done. We're standing our ground. I I'm there. That's where we need to be. We need to be right there. And it's not about hate, and I'm not telling anyone they need to feel any kind of hate. Or what you need to feel is love for yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. We need to love ourselves. And if you love yourself, and if you believe in any kind of God, then you protect what you were given, which is your life, your livelihood, who you are, your soul, everything that's inside of you. You protect that, because that is your gift. That's who you are. And you owe everything. You owe the universe to protect yourself. So that's what you're supposed to do. It's not about hate. It's about self-love. When you love yourself, you're not going to let other people destroy you. So anyways, I'm a little bit emotional and stuff, so I'm gonna go. And thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Have a good night.